Good evening. Today is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, and the board meeting Good evening. Today is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, and the board meeting is now called to order. It is currently 6:01. All board members are present except for Ashley Carson Cottingham. At this time, Director Hudson will read the land acknowledgement.
Sorry, I just noticed I don't have it in front of me, so does anyone have it? Hello, everybody. Traditional. Thank you. So here we go. We are gathered today on the land of the Kalapuya, who are represented by the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians. The relationship between the Kalapuya people and this land continues unbroken to this day. And we offer gratitude for the land and for the generations present and past who have stewarded the land since time immemorial. We respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Native American and Indigenous students and staff of Salem-Keizer Public Schools. We invite you to join us in honoring these ancestral grounds and celebrating the resilience and strength of all Native American and Indigenous people. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Castaneda, are there any modifications to the agenda this evening?
No, there are not.
At this time, I would turn the portion of the agenda over to you for Spotlight.
This whole room is filled with spotlight. I love it. All right, so we do have a number of really important spotlights today, and so I want to actually introduce, where is Michelle? Do I see you? Ah, there you are. We're going to start with Michelle Nelson, and she's going to be doing our community spotlight. And as she gets settled, I would really love to just say a couple of quick words. And I might drag Olga Cobb into it as well. This is a really special spotlight from a really important and special moment. And Michelle's going to share the details, but I'm going to share a portion of the origin story, which was a day when the United Way came to the LPC and they said, there's a lot going on in Salem-Keizer, and we want the staff to see how much the community cares about them, how much the community loves them. What can we do for schools? And I just feel that it is a story of Salem-Keizer as a community, that people came to us and asked this question. And they didn't just ask the question and walk away. They asked the question, and then you did it. And it's just magical. Olga, you also were in the middle of this. Before we pass it on to Michelle, any more love you would like to pour into this moment?
Yes, thank you. I want to say we were overwhelmed. And when I say we, I speak for teachers, assistants who called and said, we feel the love from the community. We had ribs today for lunch. We had breakfast quiche in every flavor. We had a church that came to our school and served us lunch, and it felt amazing. So thank you. We want to say thank you to Kathy and the whole team, Salem. I don't want to mention the groups, but Salem Leadership Foundation, there were so many incredible groups that just came together to wrap around our staff, and we appreciate it, and we love you for it, and hopefully we can continue doing it. Thank you.
And now,
Okay.
Michelle.
So my name is Michelle Nelson. I'm principal at Pringle Elementary. Pringle has right around 487 students this year, and we have about 50 staff and then supporting staff from the district that come in, and most of them benefited from this for what I'm going to read. So good evening, Chair Richardson, board directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight I would like to brag a bit about our amazing community, a community that's filled with people who show so much care and support for our educators. Recently, every staff member at every school and options-based program received a meal at the end of the summer, which was provided through community sponsorships from businesses, faith groups, and organizations in our Salem-Keizer community. Ours in particular was provided by a faith group, and it was a delicious Olive Garden meal that lasted for 2 more days after that. The meal our staff members received represented gestures of appreciation and tokens of gratitude for educators who are growing and supporting the next generation of our community. But in order to secure the sponsorships that provided all the meals for so many staff members in our district, it took a vision from one partner and the invaluable support of another. Kathy McGinnis with United Way wanted to provide a meal for every staff member at every school and options-based program in our district, and we're celebrating today because it happened. And as Kathy was explaining the project to members in the community, the Salem Leadership Foundation quickly recognized the scale of work and willingness and stepped in to promote, coordinate, and tackle sponsorships. The list of local businesses, organizations, faith groups, and community members who sponsored a school and supported the project is too long to cover in this recognition. But we want to give a huge thank you to everyone who sponsored a meal for our staff. Together, this effort helped kick off the school year with positivity, reminding our teachers and staff that the community stands firmly behind them. And I know that most principals coordinated this so that it would be at a welcome back staff meeting or immediately following or immediately before. So it was just a good community building activity as well, because we all got to get together and talk and reacquaint ourselves with one another, or meet new faces. In my case, I'm new to my building this year. And we want to give a special thank you to United Way and Salem Leadership Foundation teams for making it all happen. Thank you.
So we will do photos at the very end. For our community spotlight, you now get to relax a little bit, listen to everyone else being honored, and I would like to invite TJ Crockett to join us for our staff spotlight. And as TJ joins us for a staff spotlight, I will do a spontaneous staff spotlight for TJ. He's dying a little bit inside, and I'm going to do it anyway. So TJ was honored this year as the 2024 Supervisor of the Year for Oregon. And I'll just share briefly, we are so fortunate to have such an amazing transportation team. TJ's words are forming in my mouth because I would say, congratulations, and he would say, it's all the team. It's a great team. And so we get a chance to honor him, and through that, his team, and he gets a chance to honor a member of his team tonight. TJ, take it away.
Well, good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Today, I'm here to recognize an exceptional individual who has made significant contributions not only to our district, but the broader community of Oregon, David Jorgensen, a leader in our student transportation department, who actually started as a bus driver about 20 years ago and is currently one of our operations managers. He was recently awarded the prestigious Ron Bryan President's Award by the Oregon Pupil Transportation Association, or OPTA, as you've heard. This award honors David's more than 10 years of dedication of service to OPTA, reflecting his outstanding leadership and dedication to improving the field of student transportation. His recognition is a testament to his selfless commitment to excellence. David's impact extends beyond our district, as he has organized annual transportation training for over a decade, drawing more than 800 bus drivers from across the state each year. These sessions have not only enhanced the quality of our work here at Salem-Keizer as our drivers participate, but also has improved student transportation standards throughout Oregon, ensuring safer and more effective service for students statewide. As the largest school bus operation in the state, we have a unique role in serving the increasing and diverse needs of Oregon students. David has embraced this responsibility by using his position with Opta to champion inclusion and accessibility, ensuring that lessons learned in our district benefit all students who rely on transportation services, regardless of their location or background. The Ron Bryan President's Award is a fitting recognition for David's work. Named after a former transportation director and early Opta leader, this award honors individuals who have shown exemplary leadership that positively impacted students, schools, and communities. David's contributions perfectly embody these values, and we are proud to have him represent our district on such a prominent stage, and part of the reason why I was honored as Supervisor of the Year. But please join me in congratulating David Jorgensen on a well-deserved honor.
We have a second spotlight for tonight for staff, and I would like to invite Rob Schopfer to join us. And since I'm on a roll, and I just love this room so much right now, I'm going to just quickly warm it up with this spotlight. So when I joined the Salem-Keizer team last year, one of the very first things that I did was attend La Clausura, the Migrant Ed celebration. And I went, and it was the best thing ever. And I went home, and I said to my husband, this is my new job. This is the best job I could imagine having. And that is still true, but there is something so special about our Migrant Ed program and team. You create this amazing environment. I wish that everyone in our community could see and feel what you build for our families and our kids. It's extraordinary. And
thank you for that setup.
I'll pass it off to Rob.
Yeah, thank you for that setup. That's why we're here tonight. Good evening, Chair Richardson, board directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Our migrant program hosted another successful summer school for our students in pre-K through 7th grade this year. Our elementary program was held at Merriere, and our middle school program was held at Houck. We had a total of 656 students attend this program this year. Our elementary program offered a variety of classes, including social emotional learning, Spanish literacy, writing, physical education, English language development, biliteracy para todos, cultura, math groups for iReady, and dances for our Clausura event that showcased what Superintendent Castaneda just described. Our students were able to attend field trips during the program, and we partnered with a variety of community organizations that brought us the Bookmobile and Food Hero for cooking classes, along with the resource fair. Our middle school had classes in social emotional learning, math, science, elective options such as art, PE, dance, and culture classes. Our program offered multiple field trips and opportunities to learn that were showcased at the program at the end of the event. We had over 80 staff members supporting us in multiple roles in order to help our leads make this summer program a success. I would like to recognize our leads tonight, our group of teachers and staff who made this program possible. Lupita Olvera Gonzalez, Griselda Hernandez, Yari Colon Rodriguez, Cassie Huntley, Eileen Licea Correa, Norma Sanchez Bravo, Oscar Rodriguez Garcia, Ruth Ochoa, Randy Barch, Antonio Perez Rivas, Areli Esqueda, Kayla Gutierrez, Rocio Contreras Fernandez, Belén Santiago, Irma Aguilar, and Socorro Mendez, but she goes by Coqui. Please join me in congratulating this group on another job well done.
Thank you, Rob. And then finally, bringing it home with our student spotlights, we'd like to introduce Heidi, and she's going to talk to us about the McNary Peer Navigators. And I'm just going to keep going since I'm already on this roll. I was up at like 5 o'clock in the morning for the first day of school, and one of the things that I was getting text messages about and hearing about was the incredible peer navigator work at McNary. You never know what's going to come through my phone and the hours that it comes, but I just want to say that you guys are, your name is out there, and we're about to hear more.
Good evening, Chair Richardson, Board Directors, Superintendent Castaneda, and student advisors. Tonight, I am honored to recognize an extraordinary group of students who have stepped up to make a lasting impact at McNary High School, the Peer Navigators. I am joined by Allison Bauman and Beth Tavares, who are part of this program that features nearly 40 of our top juniors and seniors who have chosen to take on an additional leadership role within our school community. These students serve as peer navigators, working closely with freshman advisory classes to provide guidance, mentorship, and support to students who are just beginning their high school journey. The peer navigators are much more than just mentors, they are role models. They share their own high school experiences, offering advice on how to stay organized, succeed in their classes, and get involved in school activities. In just a short time, they've already made a significant impact by greeting freshmen with a warm smile and a positive outlook during Celtic Starter Day, and their first advisory class, which was just today. As the school year continues, these relationships will deepen, and peer navigators will continue to assist with lessons on topics such as community building, transcript reading, self-advocacy, and making connections with their peers that help students feel comfortable, confident, and most importantly, like they belong at McNary. I am so proud of our McNary Peer Navigators and want to thank them for their commitment to fostering a supportive and welcoming environment for all of our students.
Thank you. Okay, I think what we'll do, since we have a large group, is we'll go in order of the spotlights, and we'll meet over in front of that gorgeous wide erase board, and we'll take our photos. So we'll start with our community spotlight.
Petition to get a backdrop so people don't have to. I mean, or, you know, for. I second. Yeah, for our graphic design folks, you know, I think we could replace that with a green screen.
All women, all people of color playing the music They're coming back again for the second Spider-Verse. Are we showing them to get tickets? I didn't know that was a thing. It's in a couple weeks, but and I didn't even know that the petition was all women or women of color. The first full orchestra, all women, all people of color. Yeah. And then I also heard that you're the person to thank. When I say that I love Yeah, I know, I heard that. That was like the first thing I did. I was like, we're gonna fix this. So I'm like, well, I'm on both boards. Somewhere that I can facilitate this. What's the other thing? Chariots. I think the board president of Chariots.
Oh, that's a big cloud, eh?
When you mentioned intro virtues, like basically just doing something.
All right. That'll be
Oh, that's it. I got put on hold 4 times with the district today about like financial. Realistically,
Oh my God, keep the happy to
even though that's
not for the mom. She'll be happy to see you. Or Erin can take a picture with you and ask him to take a picture. Go ahead. You'll never get this chance again. You know her from the time she was a baby.
I know. Well, I just know her from.
Daughter's classmate. Right. So she used to baby's parents. I mean, I know there's no one. It's a slippery slope. That's what I'm going. What does it take for something?
I know.
Before we move to our next item, I'd like to take a moment to introduce to some and welcome to others our newest member of Salem-Keizer leadership team, Danielle Nevis. Deputy Superintendent, would you like to have words?
Well, I just want to say good evening to everyone on the board, as to our student advisors, Superintendent Castaneda. I am really excited to be here in Salem. I've been here for about, a week and a half, not very long. But I've been able to get out to school, spend some time with principals, walking around, finding out what's on their mind, working with this great team to really ensure that we're focused on our goals for this year. So I'm excited to be here today, excited to begin to work with everyone on the board and do what we need to do for our community. So thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. At this time, we will have the superintendent's report.
Thank you. The superintendent's report tonight actually feels a lot like the spotlight in the sense that it is a celebration of so many wonderful things in our school and our community. And because this is the first board meeting since the opening of school, I'm just going to kind of quickly walk you through some of the things we saw and heard and some of the things that we did. I find it amazing that every year there's this one day where 39,000 kids and all of their families basically do the same thing at the same time. It's a spectacular feat when you think about it, opening schools. And our staff work so hard to make those openings excellent. And this year's opening really was great. I know that many of you, our student advisors, quite directly participated in the opening of school, but many of you, for a variety of reasons, had the opportunity to be out and see the look and feel of schools on the first day. So a couple of quick things that I'm going to share and maybe some micro stories. So Jumpstart for both 6th grade and kinder is just a great way to get those really important transitional grades settled and get students feeling like they know where they're going and they know what's going to happen there. And I did get a chance to spend a little bit of time in Jumpstart Kinder. And if you had been there, what you would have seen was, you would have seen dance, you would have seen song, you would have seen writing, you would have seen them working on the routines of a classroom. And I will in particular share one very brief story because I feel that it carries wisdom for all of us. So there was a group of about 10 kinders sitting on a carpet, and it was their very first morning of Jumpstart. And the teacher said, "Students, do we ever make mistakes in kindergarten?" And all the students said, "No, no mistakes in kindergarten." And she said, "No, we make mistakes in kindergarten all the time. And do you know what that means? It means we're learning." And it was just one moment of, hundreds of amazing Jumpstart experiences for our 6th and for our kinders, and help them get a strong start. So then on the first week of school, for the very first day, we welcomed the 6th graders and the freshmen. And again, this is just to get them oriented. And I had the chance to talk to a number of sort of like the McNary peer navigators, the seniors who were there ready to dole out advice, whether it was wanted or not, they were ready to give it. And so I'll share some of the themes I heard from senior advice. Be yourself. Don't try to be anything else. Try new things and give them a chance, because you think you won't like them, but you might discover that you do. And words of wisdom for us all: don't put things off. So these were some of the words of advice that I heard from seniors at 3 of the different schools, and I just saw freshmen getting welcomed in ways that were extraordinary, and I think for some a little overwhelming. Having to run the gauntlet as a freshman of all of these cheering juniors and seniors, I think felt like a pretty amazing way to join a new school community. And then for our first day, we just had so many extraordinary openings. We had staff that were excited. I was in the our main transportation hub, and it was pretty early, and everybody was just buzzing with excitement. And I watched a bus driver dance down the hall singing a song she had made up, which was called "It's the First Day of School." And you can just tell how much our staff love this community. I wish that I could gift the vision and the ability to see this to everyone. And then one final story, first day of school. While there is a lot that changes in schools, there are some things that stay the same. And so the story I will share is spending an hour in a 6th grade hall helping everyone work through locker combinations. One to the right, then to the left, overshoot it, then back again. So many of us remember that feeling and that fear that you can't get your locker open. So I want just to tell you that that feeling is alive and well, but they are working through it in Salem-Keizer Public Schools. And then finally, Friday and Saturday, we had meets and games, and it just really, I think, demonstrated so much of what's great in us. So we had the Mayor's Cup, which was, it's obviously a long tradition, a football game between North and South. This particular Mayor's Cup was interrupted dramatically by lightning and thunder, and the teams waited for a long time before they eventually called the game and rescheduled it. But here's the part that's about Salem-Keizer. Our staff worked till midnight to find refs, to find trainers. They worked with everyone who needed to be worked with because, well, one, North was not going to lose that interception and touchdown return. But the other is that this is an important game to our community. And they made sure that on Saturday morning, we picked up right where we left off, and we finished that game. And then I'll also just share the meet. There was a cross-country meet, and this will be my final story of the evening, I believe. But I was at the meet, and there was just a lot of teams, a lot of excitement, and some nervousness, especially with the freshmen. And so there was a big line of freshmen, and I thought, I'm just going to join this line and talk to them, and they'll feel less nervous if somebody's talking with them. So I was talking with them, and I was asking them what race they were running, and they said it's going to be our first JV race. And I said, great, well, what line are we in? And he said, ma'am, we're in the bathroom line. So I apparently did succeed in having a great interaction. I did not succeed in reassuring freshmen about their first meet. But anyway, I just say, like, this is what schools are about. Like, they're about communities coming together. They're about staff working incredibly hard to make things happen that seem routine, but they are in fact extraordinary. And we have a lot of students who are being brave, trying new things, being themselves, and really just reaching into the greatness that is in all of our schools. And then finally, just to kind of wrap it up, to give you a sense of scale for Salem-Keizer, this is just our first day, so by the numbers, about 34,000 students. This does not include kinder or pre-K. Their start is a little bit later. Right around 5,500 staff working on the first day. TJ and his team had 218 buses on the road, over 21 meals served just on our first day, and I think we were all proud to report that it was our most successful summer construction year. 28 sites opened complete, and we only have a couple with very minor delays related to mostly kitchens. And just what an accomplishment in 5 small numbers. It's the story of a system doing something great, which we do every single year. And with that, I think I will turn it back to our chair.
I want to know who won the game.
I feel the tension at the dais, and I'm going to stay out of the mayor's cup. Full story, you guys may continue that later.
Who won? Who won?
It was South.
It was South, but North came out strong.
Very good. Thank you, Superintendent, for your report. It is now time for the public comment portion of the school board meeting. Please note, we selected speakers at random. We provided an opportunity for public comment by call-in, Zoom, in person, and in writing. Tonight we have 2 in-person commenters. Each participant has 3 minutes. Electric mechanisms are used for translation. We have a countdown timer on screen for monitoring our time. The timer counts down from 3 minutes at 30 seconds. It turns from green to yellow. At 1 second, it turns red and plays a short bell to signal time is up. Please be mindful of your pace for our interpreters. If the board receives written comment ahead of the meeting, the written comment will be posted on the district website. At this time, will TJ Putnam, community member, come to the front to share on the topic of the McKinney-Vento program? Says in person. TJ Putnam? No. Okay. Our second person is on Zoom. We have Jane Tichenall.
I don't believe we have Jane Tichenall. I do believe we are competing with a relatively important national event tonight, which is perhaps contributing to our... I'm sorry? Yes. Yes. We certainly always have the opportunity to receive written comment. So if TJ, Jane, or anyone else wishes to submit comments to the board, we always make sure that they get those.
All right, well, that concludes that part of our meeting. At this time, we have an adoption of resolution number 2024-2503, commitment to equity centered on race and anti-racism. We heard the first reading and engaged in discussion on this resolution at our meeting in August. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-2503, commitment to equity centered on race and anti-racism as proposed?
Yes, I'd like to make that motion,
Okay?
that we accept the resolution as presented. I
All
will
right.
second that.
Okay. The motion was made by Director Lisa Harnish, and it was seconded by Director Pressey. At this time, we'll open the floor for discussion. Yes, Dr. Sati.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate this opportunity to comment and explain my position on this very important resolution. I just wanted to kind of share that I learned that this is a board-initiated resolution and not district-initiated, and was first introduced in September of 2021, I believe. Well, I believe that racism is our shared history, and to mend the wounds of racism is all our shared responsibility. Yet, I cannot support this resolution as it is worded. That does not mean I don't support the intent of it. I have submitted an alternative version. Because I see there are some, we have to find a way to kind of reconcile and move forward and heal our nation. I find the current version comes across as very divisive and distracts us from holding ourselves accountable for some of the real issues our children and parents and family and teachers and staff are actually experiencing now. I have shared with wide variety, a diverse community, and I've reached out, and that's how I arrived at this position. I believe bad policies will lead to bad outcome, and divisiveness will destroy our community at every level. Just to cite an example in response to our youth bringing some wide disparities in discipline and arrest, our board worked hard to get the data so that we could start sharing it in the school board meeting. I'm still not clear why in July 2021, when our board composition changed, as a board, we stopped sharing this, and later we didn't have much discussion on this. Why it is important? Because in these 2 years, we learned that there has been 320% increase in youth arrests and shooting gangs, and sadly, our children from very vulnerable communities, including Black and Hispanic communities, are disproportionately impacted. It really made me start thinking, had we unpacked the data and started understanding the underlying root causes and tried to find a way to intercept and reach out to them, perhaps, we could have prevented those arrests and needless deaths, just like what we saw tragically in Salem, Bush Park, etc. It really started making me look, the historic wrongs, historic policies do have lingering effect even today, whether it's redlining leading to segregation in our schools and all kinds of things. But as a policymaker, I feel we need to pivot from being an activist to a policymaker. And we need to start asking ourselves, did I use all the tools that I had in my arsenal to interrupt? And it's a question of self-reflection that made me kind of go in and saying, if I did not, then am I as responsible in creating the disparities or allowing the disparities to continue? Because once I got elected, it doesn't matter what historical basis for those wrongs were, which has lingering effect. I do have the power, I do have the ability to start asking, did I use all that is allowed within the 14th Amendment equal protection? Did I use all the tools that is allowed in my civil rights? All my legal policies, etc. And that's the way I started looking at it, rather than saying, somebody else is responsible, or, The second thing is it's a slippery slope. Some of the words you used, if we can remove it, it's a very good policy. I really want people to understand. when we don't have a clear definition of what white supremacy is, my biggest worry is I'm not sure how many people have been wrongly targeted or wrongly labeled, and that led to needless harm. So it's almost like we are chasing a bogeyman. And I kind of looked at it, God, we have come a long way from Jim Crow era. We need to really work towards a perfect union. And we have to find a way. Ours is a very multicultural, pluralistic community. So many of our marriages are mixed marriage. So many immigrants have come in. And we really start asking ourselves, how can we use the full extent of our 14th Amendment or all the Title VI, Title VII civil rights, and not create a resolution that separates on the basis of skin color. Equity has been enshrined in our credo. There are so many other ways in which we can achieve equity. Does it have to be based on skin color is where I kind of started asking myself. But there is poverty in white community. There is intersectionality of so many difficulties. And I don't want our teacher to be wrongly labeled as a racist or supremacist because they gave a low grade to a child, because that is the way they were trying to help them. Or people feel stifled in telling a little child, saying, sorry, we need to work hard. This is the grade I'm going to give you. That doesn't mean you cannot get better. So this is why I feel we can achieve at this, and hence I have submitted to our board an alternative version, which I really took it to different sections of our community. I went on the social media, I went on a radio program, because I really wanted to engage the wider community to say, how do we address this complex issue? So because of the kind of wordings we have used, I do not think I can support if there is a potential for it to continue to divide my community or my nation. Hence, I will not be able to vote in favor of this the way it is worded. It doesn't mean I'm not going to stop working to heal the wounds of the racism and everything that we are still facing. So with that, respectfully, I would like to say it'll be a no vote from me, because I notice the language is just the same. And I wish there was a little bit of open discussion amongst us so that we could have continued to find a way to find a compromise and bring different communities together. So thank you very much. I will send a copy of this to the board for the sake of public record.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion at this point?
I would like to. Thank you so much.
Director Hudson?
I too, thank you, will be voting against this because so many reasons, actually. But I feel that I took an oath for all of the children, and I think that if we were to take it upon ourselves to have a resolution as such to represent our entire school district, I think it should be no segregation and be interpreted differently depending on the ears. I wish I had time to elaborate on everything, but yeah, I will be voting against. I do think that we have the capability to reword this resolution as it continues to come up. Again, just stating no supremacy. That should be a given. It's not tolerated. And I would really like us to see, however, sit down maybe as a board somehow and create more resolutions that do meet our standard that we've given our district to try to come out of our low academic levels that we've been in and focus more on that and stand for creating, putting words behind what we had said that we want our district to create. We need to keep teaching the children what they came here to learn and keep trying to do better than we've done the year past, and look at what is coming, what our problems are each year individually to address these. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion at this time?
Okay.
Yes.
we have had a first reading, and when I compared the last 3 versions of this, I see the first paragraph has been moved to 6th paragraph, and there has been some wording differences. When I reached out to wider community, and a lot of community members I really want you to hear and our board to hear, showed immense interest in this. And they said, can we get a chance to sit down and work on this? I was actually very hopeful that whoever I reached out showed very positive indication that they really want, everybody wants to finish the unfinished business of racism. That's the kind of feeling I got. Because racism degrades everybody. It degrades everybody. It's not good for our nation. And once you start kind of focusing on the inherent human dignity of our children and the family and the individual, then there is a way to achieve this and help people see that we had a terrible past, no doubt about it, and those terrible past wrongs do have lingering effect. But we have also come a long way. We had the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. We have civil rights. There are different tools we can use. Because a lot of times I'm noticing is our community don't know what they don't know. They don't know about civil rights. How do they know it's getting violated? So there are ways in which we can achieve this, and we need to. We must achieve this. But it is going to really require us to start engaging community. Community is hungry to participate. They are scared to participate because they don't know they'll end up saying some wrong things. So a lot of people are really wanting to solve this problem. That's the impression I got. And irrespective of what the vote is today, we need to continue to work. Since we have, as a board, we have decided to take this up, we need to also follow through. Maybe starting within our own board, first of all, we sit down and have a cup of coffee and start saying, okay, what do you think? How do you think we should? And then start engaging wider community. It is not possible, it's not right for us to just put it out on somebody else to fix it when we are not open to take accountability of saying, we have, unfortunately, tragic outcome of some of the decisions. Perhaps we made it in a very naive way or without knowing or without sitting down and listening to each other. So we have to start with us and then start working our way because our parents are really wanting some solution for what's right in front of them. They are not really going around looking for a white supremacist. They're looking for how can my child be safe today to go to school and come back and not get attacked by somebody or a gang, or they're thinking of how do we put food on the table and get the kid ready and go to school and come back. These are the day-to-day issues that what I heard from the community. And
Thank
we
you.
can reach this equity,
Point of order.
but we have to find a different way to achieve it, not based on skin color. That's what I'm trying to, or what I heard from the community. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting resolution number 2024-2503, commitment to equity-centered or race and anti-racism as proposed, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye. Aye. Chair, I would like to note that Director Carson Cottingham is online.
Director Koch, did you see?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Those not in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
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 No.
Okay. The outcome of the vote is the name, we had 6 yeses and 2 noes. 5 yeses and 2 noes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Now we'll move to the adoption of Salem-Keizer Public Schools 24-25 legislative agenda. At our work session in August, we heard the first reading and engaged in discussion on this topic. Do I have a motion to adopt Salem-Keizer Public Schools 24-25 legislative agenda?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you.
A second.
And thank you for the second. Did you get those names? Good. Is there any discussion?
Chair, if I could offer a small correction.
Please.
So on the page that says the Salem-Keizer Board of Education offers its support for, on the second bullet, you'll see that it ends with the phrase early Head Start. That was my mistake, and what I'd like to propose as a correction there is striking the word early and adding and preschool promise.
Where is that?
So the full sentence, it's on the page that doesn't have columns, so the full side. It's the second bullet, and so the corrected sentence would read, in increases in state funding for high-quality early childhood education and expansion of transportation funding for students enrolled in licensed early childhood education programs like Head Start and Preschool Promise. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Thank you for that correction.
I have a discussion.
2 minutes.
Yeah, Chair, I just want to publicly thank Superintendent Castaneda and your team for doing a wonderful job of kind of taking a very complex issue and kind of putting it in this format, because a lot of times we say, okay, what about reading? What about this? This is like the nuts and bolts of the foundational thing that will help us finally take off. So I really want, because a lot of time community has asked me, what about this outcome, that outcome? This is the foundation. This is almost like the infrastructure investment, which will allow us to take off and continue to take off and continue to fly high for our children. So this is long overdue, and for taking this complex issue since you have come to our town and putting it in this way, I really appreciate. I appreciate all the hard work that went behind this. So in some sense, we are like a leaders in the state of Oregon. I really want everybody to hear that. In the OSBA, some of our other directors, they all said, yeah, we want funding, but the way you have taught us, you have been like a teacher for the entire Salem-Keizer community. So at a street level, I hear these terms being used. And so I really think everybody can help in calling the legislature and helping us move in this direction. It doesn't have to be through lobbyists alone. So that's my literal ask from the community. So this is a lot of work went in. It's not easy. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All those in favor of adopting the 24-25 legislative agenda as proposed, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, aye.
Unanimous.
And all directors voted yes. Next, we have nominations for Oregon School Boards Association Legislative Policy Committee. This is our last action item for the evening. And that's for nominations to become a candidate for the OSBA Legislative Policy Committee, position 12. Do we have a nomination for the OSBA Legislative Policy Committee, position 12? I'd like to nominate Director Sandegreri. Any other nominations?
I have one.
Yes.
I would be honored to nominate Director Carson Cottingham.
Any others? We have Dr. Sandegreri and Director Cottingham. As a reminder, to be selected, the nominee must receive a majority vote, 4 of 7 board members. All those in favor of nominating Dr. Shandagiri for OSBA's Legislative Policy Committee, position 12, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
I vote for myself. Thank you.
Okay? Those not in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Director Cottingham, Director Harnish, did you all vote? Did you vote? No?
Yeah, I voted.
Okay.
Did you want to?
Okay. Now, we'll take a vote for Director Cottingham. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor?
Oh, aye.
No offense, Ashley.
So it looks like it will be Director Cottingham that will be nominated. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Did we get that, Stovin? Do you? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we are at our consent calendar. Superintendent Castaneda, do you wish to provide any further review of any item on the consent calendar?
I do not, thank you.
At this time, we need a motion for our,
I would like to move that we accept the consent calendar as presented.
Director Pressey. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Director Cottingham. At this time, all in favor of the consent calendar, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Again, it was.
All are in favor? At this time, we will have our information standard reports. As a reminder, everything in the information standard reports section is provided for the board's review ahead of the meeting. Superintendent, is there anything to add?
I do not have anything to add.
So at this time, we will have board reports. And I would like to start with our student advisors so we can hear about their great start of school.
Just like school starting?
Anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, it's a slow start because school is starting, but it feels almost like, I don't know, it just feels like a snowball that it's gonna get bigger and bigger and start rolling down the hill real soon, so I'm just waiting for that drop to happen. And I don't know, everything's been mostly smooth so far. At South, we did senior sunrise on the first day of school, except there was no sunrise. Just went from cloudy to lighter clouds. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. School just started, and everyone's, I think, starting to get in the feel of what it means to be back at school.
Thank you.
With school starting, it's been, I was able to help some of the incoming freshmen on their first day of school kind of transition into the first day of school for them without the other classes. And it was really cool to see them just be so excited to be in a new space and environment and meeting new people and the start to the next 4 years of their lives. And so it's just been really cool to see that and see the school spirit just shoot up as athletics and other clubs are starting to happen. So yeah, it's been really cool to just see all that.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I don't have anything to report on SCATs. I missed this last meeting because I was out trying to celebrate the last vestiges of summer with my child, and I went camping. But I did want to take this moment and thank everyone in the district, and also I know that we have our student advisor that worked on our commitment to equity centered on race and anti-racism. I know that it was definitely a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and I mean, especially to our student advisor, I mean, you don't get paid for that. So I really appreciate all that time, energy, and effort. And I did just want to uplift that when it comes to the topic of white supremacy, we're not discussing that someone, particularly solely based on their skin color, believes that they are superior to another race. It is an entire concept, belief system that has been inherently ingrained in all our policies since the creation of this nation. For example, currently, there are 60,000 Oregonians that are entirely exempt from food assistance programs, and they go hungry every single day. And that is a basis of white supremacy. They are excluded from food assistance programs because of their documentation status. We are so concerned about whether someone is the right person that we don't feed them or give them access to food. On the point of having come a long way in terms of racism, we have not. It has not happened. It is in very recent memory. Ruby Bridges that we honor every single year on November 15th with Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day is only 70 years old. She had to be marched into school with the National Guard. Teachers didn't want to teach her. Students didn't want to be in class with her. She is 70 years old. And then finally, I wanted to connect this back to our last meeting where only 36% of our students here at Salem-Keizer feel comfortable and feel like they belong, particularly students that identify as non-binary or on the LGBTQIA spectrum. That is also a byproduct of white supremacy because, again, this is a concept, a founding, a belief that you have to fit a very specific set of conditions to be considered a valid human being. And that is why at every single level, this resolution states that people must feel celebrated for coming in every single way that they are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias, compañera. Good to be here with you all. It's those pictures the superintendent you were sharing about Jumpstart Kinder. It was great to be out there with the young ones, and I got to see raccoons being made, and little ones were getting so creative with where they were putting the eyes and how many ears they were going to have. So you just don't get that level of creativity later in life, I feel, and freedom of expression. And so that was great. And just to have the opportunity to see how, as they're coming in, as those young ones into kindergarten are coming in and adjusting, educators are there to get to know them, but also to prepare the learning environment and make those adjustments for them, because that is so important. So that was great, being out on the red carpet, clapping for the 9th graders at North was amazing. Just great energy. I think I learned some color guard moves alongside the color guard and band, so that was great. And just to have my kiddos back in school and hear them feel welcomed, feel celebrated, and just excited to learn. So it's been a good start. And I think it just, I won't belabor the point around the commitment to equity centered on race and anti-racism resolution that we had today, but I was at a training, and I just felt really called to share these words with you today. And I think this kind of will be my, I think it can be a place for us to center, which is Creator, let me live in a way that will make my ancestors proud. And for me, supporting this resolution resonates with that statement. Being on this board with you all resonates with that statement. And just looking forward to leaning into the school year with this feeling and with this commitment in mind.
Director Harnish.
Yes, it is. I can't believe it's September already. And here we are back to school. And it's such an exciting time of the year, I think, when everything is new or feels new and it's a fresh start to things. And what an exciting time that is. While not in my official board capacity, I was able to attend a back to school night. And I would say most every family had to be there. When I got there to set up, there was a line out the door, and that just speaks to me to the culture created at the school. It also speaks to parent engagement and parent involvement and how incredibly important that is. So it was just really exciting to see that. And I too, this evening, want to acknowledge all the work that we've been able to do together, but then also specifically around the legislative agenda. And I agree with Director Chandragiri that this will be helpful to us as a board in terms of where we stand united as a board moving forward with the legislative priorities and really wanting to make sure that we can advocate appropriately and have guidance in doing that. And so just really want to acknowledge the executive committee and for leadership staff, the leadership staff in putting that together and doing so in a very succinct way. For us and for those around in the halls of the Capitol. So thank you.
Just to add a little to what's already been said, thank you. Very good, I agree. But it was nice seeing the spirit of the children go back and wondering what's in store for this next year. And you're right about the new kids, the freshmen. It's so funny how fast it goes from freshman to senior, and now you'll see them, what you looked like, but how fast they grow and so many things happening at once. And the games and the adventure of the games being rained out, the thunder, lightning, and seeing all the kids' spirit around that and anticipation for the next game. It's so neat to see them support each other no matter what. And I just want to also give thanks to the staff because last year was a tough year, and for those of you that came back and are still putting your heart into this district community and these children, the whole reason why we're all here, the children's sake, I just thank you so much, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that, like the children, we can keep moving forward and just look what's ahead, hopefully progress in more positive directions and just see the light and the brightness. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate this opportunity. There's one nice thing that came out of working on this resolution that we were talking about, that a few of us joined together to say, for the sake of all our children and generations to come, how do we bring the polarization, how do we heal and start depolarizing America and our community? How do we bring different communities together, irrespective of political ideology or different ideology? So we have started a chapter of Braver Angels of Salem. It's a nonprofit that works on getting people to start talking to each other. So they invited me, representing one way of looking at issues. And there's a wonderful gentleman, 85-year-old gentleman who was a former math teacher and a swimming coach, an amazing person who was in LA United Hall of Fame and things like that. So together we are co-chairs of a Braver Angels of Salem. We are going to have a workshop on October 19th so that we'll start having different folks kind of start connecting. So Braver Angels of Oregon is going to come. It's a free workshop. Because until we start depolarizing our nation and we start bringing people together, start listening to each other and trying to understand each other, it will be difficult for the sake of our children and teachers and generations to come. Because we are seeing the problems out of polarization. So that's the whole idea. So that's one good thing that came out of that. And I really got a chance to meet lots of community in the process. And I really appreciate some of the radio stations that allowed me to kind of come and share some of these views. So once a month, they've asked me to come and start talking about school and school-related issues so that the community can start understanding, okay, how do we participate? How do we communicate? Start writing public comments. How do we start understanding the school issues and how it pertains to the community? This is for the sake of our nation. We need to come together. And that's one nice thing that came out of it. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Jumpstart Kindergarten was awesome. I went to Yoshikai, Hayesville, and Lamb, and just saw beautiful students learning about school. I went to the opening of McKay High School, was greeted by the band and the cheerleaders and Principal Quiring all out in front, greeting all of those ninth graders. I walked into that building and I couldn't believe how many ninth graders they have, and I couldn't imagine what the next day was going to look like when all the other students showed up. But it was great. Left there and went to Waldo for their opening. It was just beautiful. Principal Ingrid and her assistant principals, Stacy Creighton and Greg Hilker, were all there working and just watching the systems they had put in place for students to be able to come in and pick up their schedules, how they had rearranged for the traffic to come through the building or in front of the building. It was just awesome. There were no parking places. So you park a mile away from the school, but the kids were getting there on time. Went to Adam Stevens for their closing, and when you drive up, there's this beautiful card on the lawn that says, "Welcome back, Bulldogs." It was just simply beautiful. It was great seeing Principal Ricardo Larios, Assistant Principal Shirley Richardson, and to see the kids there. They just seemed to, and these were the sixth graders, they seemed to come knowing what to do and how to do it. The systems are just laid in place, and it's so great. Left the next day, I went to Lamb Elementary for their closing, and Nubia Green is the new principal there, and I was just amazed at the teachers holding up the bus numbers and the kids knowing where to line up and where to go. It was just beautiful, simply beautiful. I'm like, how do you all know that already? You haven't been there long enough. But just seeing our students feeling so comfortable in our schools and being happy, that means so much. I also participated in a back-to-school event sponsored by Be Black Foundation, United Way, the Boys and Girls Club, Epping Homestead. We gave away over 700 backpacks filled with school supplies. It was awesome, awesome, awesome. 2 days' work. I want to thank all the Salem-Keizer staff that helped us with that, and friends who volunteered and made this event a huge, huge success. And last but not least, I had the privilege and honor to attend the Forum for Speakers series, The Future of Education. And just want y'all to know that our superintendent, once again, did an outstanding job of being herself and telling people she had questions for them. It's like, you are gonna help us lift this as well. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If there's nothing else, we will adjourn at this time. It is 7:15. Thank each and every one of you for being here and for being a part of our board meeting. Thank you.
I thought I was quick.